Hey Tribe, today we're going to give you a couple variations of the bench press. Whether you're at home or a gym, we're going to show you a couple options on the bench and on the floor. We're going to use dumbbells today, a little bit more universal, especially to help kind of highlight some of the imbalances from one side to the other, so we can kind of build up some of those less dominant muscles into the body too. All right, so first let's go off the basic bench press that we're going to do here. So Nadine's just going to sit down on the bench. We do want the feet planted on the ground. The big thing that we're looking for on the ground is the feet, the glutes, and the shoulders are going to remain on the bench the entire time, except for when we're not. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But that's what we're going to focus on. Once she locks those weights out, retracting the shoulder blades and pulling them down into the bench. And I always like to keep a gap in between the dumbbells when we get to the top, just so we keep more time under tension. In basic, we could bring these down in two general ways. One way is just bring the elbows out to the side, and they're gonna stay perpendicular to her body, almost like she's holding onto a barbell. Be a little bit wider grip, and we're looking at 90 degrees at the elbow joint, as well as in the armpit, and then we're gonna come back up. We're going to keep that gap, and then we can work our way through those. So this is going to be more like that typical barbell bench press, and we should feel this high on the up into the pecs that come up out here. Then what we can also do with dumbbells that I like doing is we're going to create a little bit of rotation. So these dumbbells are going to fall in line, the handles are going to fall in line with wherever your bicep is. So as she's bringing this down, she's just going to create a slight rotation. Elbows are right around that 45-degree on angle. So if you're looking at me, that angle kind of anywhere in between here we're looking at, and then we're pushing them back up. Same thing, keeping that separation in there. We're going to attack a little bit more of that pec major and pec minor at the same time while we're going through these. Another way that we can attack the press is a little bit more tricep dominance in this. And what we do is the chest press. So this is where we are pressing both of those dumbbells together. It's going to be like almost like a close grip if we're on bench. We're bringing this down towards the center of our chest, not high up, not at the face, but kind of more towards that belly button, that lower part of that sternum, and then driving back up. And as we do this, we're going to be working a lot more of the tricep in this movement while still connecting into the pec. As always, go slow and smooth through these. We like to have that down take double the amount of time as the way up. So we're fighting that eccentric movement, create more muscle recruitment in general. Then if we want to attack the biceps a little bit more, we're going to look at a key press. And what's good about this key press is it still fires up the pecs, but sometimes highlights that tougher to reach area of the pecs. Or if you're a woman and you wear those dresses and you get that kind of weird armpit stuff going on there that you never really like in pictures, this is a great exercise to help kind of tone that up. And with that key press, what we're doing is we're actually rotating the hands down. So we're getting them into a supinated position. Supinated, think like soup hands, and then we're pressing them back up. And as she works through those, we are hitting that bicep. And what a lot of people don't realize is that bicep tendon, it comes up and actually connects underneath the pec right here. So you're not only working the pec, but you also are working that bicep as you go through these. Keeping that good, consistent pace, keeping that gap right at the top as well too. So whatever sets that you're using, you could rest, Nadine. So whatever sets you're using and rep scheme that you're using, feel free to continue. If you're never sure of how many sets or reps you should be doing, one thing that you can do is just go off a feel. We're big fans of this. Anytime we're writing an outline of a program, we're giving a set number of sets and reps, and that's once again just a guideline. It's best to try and utilize those sets and reps of what your body is feeling. So if we're trying to get that pump, we're going to go through these reps as many as we can until we feel those muscles fatigue, and then rest a little bit of time and continue to repeat until you feel that you have a really good quote unquote pump of the muscles, or you feel like you're really using those muscles. Another way you can set this up for success is for strength is pick a weight and then do that weight until you can't do any more. I would highly suggest having a spotter or someone with you to make sure that they're there. If you're using a barbell, with dumbbells, it's easy. If that weight doesn't come up, just make sure that we extend those arms and we don't try to fight and then have the shoulder go out in the wrong direction. But it's a lot safer to do that with dumbbells than it is with a barbell by yourself, so it doesn't drop on you. So always keep that in mind. But any weight that you have, we can still create it. For instance, if you're like, I can't do bench press, I can't do floor press, I only have 10-pound weights. Oh, you can do it. It just might take you a lot more time. Slow that movement down. And what I like to do when I have weight that feels light is I focus on creating a contraction of the muscle to be stronger, okay? So I can squeeze my pec even right now and slowly bring my arm back and feel this muscle firing up and making it tough and challenging. And even going through this, I can end up burning out and tiring out this muscle, even without using weight, if I focus on trying to create a very strong contraction of the muscle, which is helping to build that mind-muscle connection. At the same time, for some of us, we might not feel that contraction with that muscle at all. So if we just continue to do those reps nice and slow, that's going to help turn the muscle on, get it working, recruit more muscle fibers, create more strength, create more tone, create more shape in the actual muscle that we're working. But Nadine, we don't have a bench now. I'm at home, so we're going to get this out of the way. And we're going to show you a couple options for the ground. Let's have you scoot this way just to make sure that we're in line. Perfect. All right, we're going to do the floor press. And with that floor press is exactly like the bench press. The big difference here is that when we're only going down to about 90 degrees. In general, 90 degrees is all we need to create maximum amount of muscle recruitment, and before the body starts creating compensation, I can bring my elbow to 90 degrees. As soon as I bring it past 90, what happens is my shoulder is going to move, my torso is going to move, and everything like that. So we are going to take a little bit away from that pec. So all we need is 90 degrees to build that muscle. Keep that in mind. You don't have to go past 90 that you're going to get more out of it. So with the floor press, nothing changes. So you can go off the standard press, you can go off of a dumbbell press, that's going to keep in line. But the big thing for this is that when she comes down, she's just feeling the elbows touch the ground. She's not resting the arms on the ground and then we're driving back up. So this is a good time to take it a little bit slower on the way down so we're not driving the elbows into the ground. Especially we don't want to be hitting the elbow with all the load stacked on top of our hand and creating irritation, a bone bruise, or something worse. So we can do this in this exact same position using the exact same movements that we just did. Chest press, bench press, or we could do that key press. Either one of those are fully, you're fully capable of doing them in the floor press position. But sometimes we want a little bit more out of that. And one way we could get more out of the pecs is to create a decline position. This is where we're going to take the glutes out of it. Now we wanted the feet, the glutes, and the shoulders initially for when we're on the bench. But if we don't have a decline machine or not at the gym, we can do a decline press to help kind of work more of those upper pecs. So we're going to keep that glute bridge. Now we're going to create a lot more core contraction, glute contraction, fire up those hamstrings, and align that body and having more of the muscles in the body working while we put our body through this range of motion. Now when we're doing this, once again, pick whatever bench press or pressing movement that you like to do in this position or in that position. We can change it up to this position. We can do that exact same thing, just attacking those muscles slightly different. We're changing the angle of the muscle or the position that we're doing it, which is going to change the angle of the muscle fibers that we're activating. So we're going to recruit more of some and less of others to get a better shaped and toned body. Finally, we're going to show you one way that it's supported. So besides having a decline position, we're going to go off of an incline. And you can get a stack of something, whatever you have at your house. We like using a big slam ball. And now we can do that same thing. So once again, we could run through all those positions as needed, whether we're doing now an incline bench press, whether we're at 90 degrees or about 45. We can do an incline chest press, which you're going to find you're going to be pushing a little bit higher to the chest on this one than when you're laying down, and that's okay. And then we could also do that key press, where we come down, rotate, and push all the way up. And you will notice if you do change these up from that incline to that decline to that flat, whether it's floor press or bench press, you are going to get different muscles. And I highly suggest trying these both on a bench and on the ground. Play around with them, see how they feel, and try those out. But there's plenty of variations that we can do with the bench press besides just going to the gym, grabbing a barbell, putting on weight, and bumping that stuff out there. If you're really looking to shape the body, these are some great exercises to do. As always, like, subscribe, do all that types of things that you like. If you like our videos and you want to see more, it helps us out. Throw some comments in there so we know what you want to hear or do or whatever that may be. We're always here. Love creating videos for you guys, and we'll see you next week.